Lonely rancher bought a deaf maiden sold by her drunk father, then realized she could hear with her heart. Tie never reckoned a man's life could pivot on the glint of desperation in a stranger's eyes. But that's exactly what happened to me that blistering afternoon in 1883, out on the fringes of Wyoming Territory. The name's Elias Thorne, and at 38, I'd carved out an existence as rugged as the Badlands themselves, running a spread called Thornwood Ranch, where the wind howled like lost souls, and the only company was the lowing of cattle and the ghosts of regrets. I'd lost my betrothed, Clara, to a stampede years back, her laughter silenced forever under thundering hooves. Since then, I'd sworn off entanglements, content with solitude that gnawed at my bones like winter frost. Town was a rare venture, only for salt, ammunition, and maybe a beast to bolster my herd. But fate, that sly coyote, had other plans. The auction yard in Bitter Creek was a cauldron of dust and desperation. The autumn sun scorching everything it touched, turning sweat to salt on weathered brows. I'd just sidestepped a brawl between two cowpokes over a disputed bid when the real storm hit, not thunder, but the raw ugliness of human trade. Amid the snorting horses and bawling calves, a slovenly drunk named Harlan Fitch staggered forward, a rope looped around his wrist like a noose. At the other end stood a maiden no older than 22. Her raven hair knotted in tangles, her homespun dress faded to the color of forgotten dreams. Her feet were bare, toes curled into the parched earth, and her eyes, those deep, stormy gray eyes, held a vacancy that chilled me deeper than any blizzard. "Step right up, gents." Fitch slurred, his breath a fog of rot-gut whiskey. "This here's my daughter Leela, deaf as a post, dumb as dirt. Can't hear a lick, won't speak a word, but she'll scrub your boots and mend your socks without complaint. Inherited her from her ma. Rest her soul. $10 takes her off my hands, no hagglin'." The crowd, a motley crew of ranch hands, merchants, and drifters, erupted in coarse laughter. Big Tom Riley, the saloon owner, with a belly like a rain barrel, spat a wad of chew into the dirt. "Hell, Harlan, she looks like she'd scare the coyotes away. You'd have to pay me to haul that baggage home." Beside him, young Zeke from the livery stable nudged his pal, chuckling. "Deaf maiden. Sounds like Blissno, backtalk from the missus." Their guffaws grated on me, stirring a fire in my chest I hadn't felt since Clara's passing. I'd seen enough injustice on the trail, Indians driven from their lands, widows left destitute, but this, peddling kin like chattel, it twisted something primal inside. I turned my gaze to the sorrel mare I'd come for, a lean beauty with fire in her step, despite the lash marks on her flanks. But Lila's eyes found mine through the haze, locking on with an intensity that stopped my breath. No tears, no pledge, just a silent recognition, as if she saw the hollow in my soul and mirrored it back. It hit me like a gut shot. That look was Clara's, the night before the drive, full of unspoken dreams. My heart clenched, memories flooding, her fingers tracing my jaw, her whispers of forever under starlit skies. Now, here was this maiden, bound and broken, pulling at threads I'd buried deep. Fitch yanked the rope, making her stumble. "Come on, Thorne. I know you've got coin burning a hole in your pocket. Buy the mare, and the girl's yours for free. Ain't worth the feed to keep her." The crowd pressed in, sensing blood in the water. Riley jeered, "Going soft in your old age, Elias. Startin' a charity for strays?" Zeke hooted, "Or maybe he's lonely out there, needs a quiet type." Their mockery stung, but I ignored it, my mind a whirlwind. Walk away, and I'd carry the guilt like lead. Intervene, and I'd invite chaos into my ordered isolation. Something snapped. "Done," I growled, tossing a handful of silver into Fitch's palm, enough for the mare, a token for the maiden. The laughter peaked. "Thorne's buying himself a ghost bride." Someone hollered. Fitch untied the rope with a sneer, shoving her toward me. "Your problem now, rancher? Don't say I didn't warn ya she's as useful as a three-legged dog." Lila flinched from his touch but stepped toward me, her frame slight yet resolute, seeking refuge in my shadow. It was her choice, silent but clear, and it ignited a spark in my chest protectiveness. Mingled with a curiosity that bordered on ache, I led the mare to my buckboard, Lila trailing like a whisper. She climbed in without prompting, curling into the corner with her knees drawn up, gray eyes fixed on the endless horizon. As I snapped the reins, her fingers brushed my sleeve a fleeting graze, calloused yet soft, sending a jolt through me like lightning on the plains. Vulnerability bloomed in that touch, stirring emotions I'd locked away, longing, tenderness, the ghost of love lost. Who was she? What horrors had forged her silence? The ride to Thornwood stretched eternal, the wagon jolting over ruts carved by countless pioneers. Sagebrush whispered secrets, and the wind carried hints of pine from distant mountains. I stole glances back, seeing her face tilted to the breeze, raven locks dancing wild. No backward gaze at Bitter Creek. She was done with that life, same as me. My ranch appeared as the sun dipped, a sturdy log cabin flanked by corrals and a barn. Cattle dotting the golden grasslands under vast skies. It was my sanctuary, built with sweat and sorrow. But now it felt alive with possibility and peril. I helped her down, our hands meeting briefly, another spark that warmed my calloused palm. She surveyed the land with keen eyes, not frightened, but assessing, like a wild thing, deciding if this den was safe. Inside, the cabin smelled of wood smoke and solitude. Without a word, she moved to the hearth, striking flint to kindle flames, then set a pot to boil for stew. Her movements were fluid, instinctive, as if she'd always known the rhythm of survival. I watched, mesmerized, as she sliced potatoes with a knife from the shelf. Her focus a balm to my restless soul. That night, I offered her chalk and pointed to the beam above the table. "Name," I mouthed slowly. She hesitated, then etched in flowing letters, "Lila." I sounded it out, the syllable lingering like a melody. She nodded once, then retreated to the corner pallet I'd rigged, wrapping in a blanket like armor. Sleep evaded me, thoughts swirling, her silence a fortress, but her eyes windows to a storm within. Clara's memory blended with Lila's image, stirring guilt and yearning a push-pull that left me breathless. Dawn broke with revelations. I found her in the barn, kneeling by the sorrel mare, her hands gentle on the beast's scarred hide. The horse, skittish as a colt, stood still under her touch, nuzzling as she applied salve from herbs she'd gathered. I leaned in the doorway, arms folded, marveling. How, I whispered to myself, was her deafness a mask for deeper senses? As days unfolded, chalk notes appeared, water low, wolves near. Her insights saved time, averted mishaps, filling the void with unspoken wisdom. Our bond grew in quiet moments. I'd mend harnesses by lamplight. She'd darn socks nearby, her presence a soothing hum in the silence. One evening, a thunderstorm raged, lightning fracturing the sky. She didn't flinch at the booms, couldn't hear them, but pressed close, her hand finding mine. The contact ignited fire in my veins, comfort turning to desire, solitude yielding to connection. "You're safe," I murmured, knowing she felt the vibration in my chest. Her gray eyes met mine, vulnerability mirroring my own. Pulling me deeper into her enigma, town whispers reached us via Riley, who rode out with supplies and tall tales. Folks say she's bewitched. Elias knows things she shouldn't. He eyed her warily as she tended the garden. Fitch is staring trouble, claiming she drove his wife mad. I shrugged it off, but tension coiled. Lila's note that night, danger, it tugged at my heart. This protectiveness blooming into affection, shadowed by fear of loss. The first peril struck like a viper. Checking fences, I stumbled into an ambush 3 outlaws, remnants of a notorious gang, guns blazing for my cattle. Bullets whistled. One nicked my thigh, blood blooming hot. I fired back, dropping one. The frontier's brutal dance of survival pulsing through me. But Lila had warned me that morning, tugging my shirt with urgent eyes. Her premonition saved seconds, turning the tide. Back home, she bandaged me silently, her touch tender, stirring emotions raw and real gratitude, morphing to love. As wounds healed, intimacy deepened. I'd teach her to ride the mare, hands on hers, guiding reins, breaths mingling in the crisp air. She'd bake bread, the scent evoking home, and I'd catch her smile, a rare sunrise that melted my defenses. Yet doubts pulled, her past a locked chest, silence a barrier. One twilight, under a canopy of stars, she traced patterns on my palm scenes for thank you home. My heart swelled, barriers crumbling, hostility escalated. Fitch rallied a mob, torches flickering at my gate one moonless night. Hand over the witch, he bellowed. Riley, Zeke, and others murmured agreement. I stood firm, rifle ready, defending her gifts as blessings. Lila emerged, calm, her presence disarming them. The mob dispersed, but the victory was bittersweet. Her hand in mine, sealing a vow unspoken. Winter gripped the land, blizzards howling. We shared warmth by the fire, her head on my shoulder, harmonica tunes vibrating through us. Town thawed slowly. She aided a birthing, saved a child from fever with intuitive herbs. Whispers turned to awe, the maiden who hears with her heart. Years wove our lives tighter. The ranch thrived, children visiting to learn her ways. One spring eve, she whispered her first words. Love, ... you. Rough, beautiful. I pulled her close, heart sinking. I hear you always. In the end, we found healing in each other, resilience against prejudice, love reborn from ashes. Thornwood became legend, a testament to connections that transcend words, echoing across the Wild West.